In today's video, I will be installing a tow bar.
Right guys, today I'm doing something a wee bit different to my usual gardening videos on YouTube and TikTok. I'm actually installing my tow bar today on my car. It's a 2010 1.4 litre TDCi Ford Fusion. They're pretty straightforward, like from pictures that I've been able to find. I've not actually been able to find a video on it. That's why I'm going to do this video today, to try and show you how to fit it if you don't know how to do them. Right, this is all the bits here. This is your main tow bar piece that goes obviously on the back of your car. You've got your actual swan neck or gooseneck, whichever you want to call it, that fits in here. I don't know if that's the right orientation at the minute. These pieces slide into the chassis rails of the car, and so they have to go in and be bolted in as well. Then you've got all your electrics and your nuts and bolts. What I've found a bit is, if you put all your stuff out that you've got first, so now you've got everything, as you go through it though, I'll explain a bit more bit by bit. I'll stop waffling guys, I'll crack on with it by getting the bumper off first, and I'll do that in a quick time lapse. Right guys, that's the bumper off. Don't do what I've done and just rip it out. On these, I didn't realise they are actually metal rivets. I just went through them though to get the remaining bits out with an 8mm drill bit. Just so you know. Also, the bumper at the side, with where it secures, my bumper was already damaged and I never realised. They are 8mm screws or bolts or whatever you want to call them, that secure the bumper at the top corner, just so you know. So 8mm drill bit for these and an 8mm socket for them. Now we'll get this rear crash barrier off, and then we can start putting the tow bar on, hopefully. Unfortunately guys, it looks like it's the same again, so we're going without trusted. Right guys, so that's the bumper off and the rear crash barrier. I thought the crash barrier had just been nuts and bolts, but unfortunately, yeah, it had 8 rivets in that had to be drilled out, which half of them started spinning, so there was a nightmare to get out. But now, thankfully, we can start putting the tow bar on and actually make some progress rather than just taking stuff apart. Right then guys, now we can start putting the tow bar on. We've got 2 different sizes of like thread length and whatnot here. There's 4 of the ones that size and 4 this size. When you put these on, don't forget, right, you have something called a lock washer initially that you have to put against the nut head. Then you put a normal washer on. If you put it the other way around, it's not going to work because that actually locks the nut down. So, this is basically these bars go in through the chassis rail, just like that. And then along there's 2 bolt holes in the chassis itself to bolt through with these ones first. So I'll get the one in because you can't get the 2 in initially because the other one, the thread, is on the actual tow bar, which you have to put in like in a bit, line up the threads and whatnot, and then bolt it down. So let's crack on with that bit. As you can see here, this is one of the holes, and the other one is further back down there. To do it, basically, all you gotta do, just pull your caps out the way as best as you can. And it's predominantly like basically like feel out for it really. So I'll bring you a bit further back, and then I'll get the first one in, and then I'll bring you back in for a close up for this one. Alright guys, I don't know if you can see that, but that's where that nut went. I have just put the other one in the other side. I forgot to move the camera. So, I don't know. This is the next one. I don't know how well that's going to show up on the video, but I need to line up the bar that's out here, plus as well, I need to line up the tow bar threads behind. And I'm going to get this nut through the first bit, which I'll get that through that first. Then, if we've done it, I should be threading. What I'm going to say guys, when you are doing this, don't tighten anything down yet. Once you've got all the bolts in, so it's held in the chassis and the tow bar is held to the brackets within the chassis, once all them are in, then go around and tighten everything. If you can't remember which one you've tightened as you come to it, get like a permanent marker or a paint pen or something and just mark each nut and that as you go. Just try and give you a little bit of reference. I'll tighten that one, tighten that one, tighten that one, they're done then. Once it's been on for a month or 2 though, what I will recommend, go back round and just make sure all the nuts are still tight, just for safety. Same again guys, crush washer first, then normal washer for pouring them in. Oh, this side is a bit more easier. Right. This is why like you leave them loose, because then you can still jiggle it about if necessary to get the bolts in. But that one went in. Oh, I've messed up, I put the wrong bolt in the wrong hole. So some days I'd forget my head if it wasn't screwed on. Again, don't tighten them down yet. So you've got a little bit of playing on, so you can get the stuff in. Right. This is just like the instructions, which are utter gibberish, which, yeah, I ain't used them for doing this so far, but it's just I need the torque settings more than anything. So, these are M10s, and on the paperwork it says M10 is 55 Newton meters. So, where is my torque wrench? Right. This is my torque wrench. It's a Draper, I'm not corresponding with them at all. I've had this torque wrench for many years, and it has never let me down, not one bit at all. So that is set to 55. So set your socket, because these are 17mm M10s. Whack it on, and then just go in and start tightening them all up. Right. I don't know if you heard that then, guys, right? Torque wrench, when it gets to the setting, you'll hear a click if you listen out for it now. That's when you know it's got to the setting. Me personally, because of what it is, I'm going to do it a tiny bit more than what it should be. Just about that. Nothing major, but just enough that I know it ain't going to come loose. Last one for this side, which I've got to thread in a little bit more myself, actually. There we go, now we can tighten it down. Oh, that was nice and easy. Nice and tight. Now we just snug it down a little bit more. Right, there we go. Now can you see, that is now nice and tight. Right, as you saw there, guys, I'll put that in a little time lapse, that bit. I'd messed up with these two bolts as well, like I did round the other side. Because that side's all tightened up and everything, and I'd already took that one down before I realised I don't really want to be undoing them. So, because of that, the bar inside, how it sat, was opened up a little bit like that, so the thread wasn't quite long enough. Use something like, I'll use these to put inside, because there's a hole underneath there, thankfully, to the back side of the plate. Use something like to just pry it like, and just lever it enough so you can get the thread started, and then the thread will pull it in. So we'll learn by our mistakes, and hopefully me making the mistakes, you won't make them, because I've showed you a little bit like how to do it. That's not coming off. Right, now we get to move on to the tail hitch. Which are these bits. With this one, you got the swan or gooseneck, whichever you like to call it, and two spacer plates there. Go either side of this, and in between that. Yeah, I thought so. I looked at one of the pictures just to double check. It is these two holes that we're using, because these, I'm assuming, are for a breakaway cable if you have emergency brakes on your trailer. So, we have these bolts which have built-in lock washers, fortunately, off the nuts. I don't know whether it'll show up on the camera, but that's a lock washer built into like a nut sort of thing to stop it from unthreading. We need to figure out which one we're going to put which side I'll put this. Shall I go driver's side? Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll put that driver's side. That, by the way, is just for the electrics. It don't really matter which side you want it on, like, but it's more like just aesthetics, how you want it. With this, pull the knot. So you hold it first, so when it's in, it's there already. Again, don't tighten up until you got both nuts in, just so you can get them lined up nicely. So if you tighten it down, you're never going to move it. So yeah. These ones on this tow hitch are 19s. So get your 19mm sockets again, and it's all cringe. 19mm is an M12, so 85 Newton meters. And then don't use a ratchet spanner, because more than likely you'll strip the teeth in your ratchet spanner. So always go with a proper spanner like this. The tools I use are Halfords Advanced, because they are a pretty good make. Again, not sponsored by them. I'd love it, but you know. So yeah, they're insured for life. The Halfords Advanced range. They're not the most expensive, but they're not the most cheapest tools in the world either. It's just what I've always preferred personally. I've had cheap socket sets and I've broke them very, very quickly. So if you want decent tools that are insured, that if they break, go with Halfords Advanced personally. Because they operate the same system as like Snap-on does. So that tells you what it's like. I know I've done them past the torque setting again, but I go by what the torque setting says on the paperwork, but because it's tow bar, I'm making sure it's definitely not going to come off my car, because I don't drive down the road towing something there, it's out the back and gone. But basically, in a nutshell, that is the tow bar. I'm going to run the electrics in a bit into the car, and then I'll get the bumper back on the car. I'm hoping, because I didn't actually check first whether I've got to cut the bumper. If I have, I won't be putting the bumper back on today. I'm going to have to try and find a hacksaw. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Right guys, that's the tow bar on. Now we have the electrics. That part goes in your car, that's the buzzer when like you're indicating. So we'll sit that up there out the road. Then this is the actual electrics to it. Right, when you put it on, don't put it on where you pull the flap down like that, because water and that's going to get in there a bit easier and possibly mess up the electrics. Best way to do it, put your tow bar electrics like that, so it opens up, protects it better and whatnot, and plus as well, if your spring ever goes, it'll just go down naturally anyway. So yeah, so I'll get this screwed on, and then we'll start securing the cable up, and then I've got to deck out some trim in the car, and we can feed it in, and hopefully we can get the bumper back on then, and we can move inside and do the electrics. Right, I know there I'll choose an impact gun, but that's because I cannot be bothered going back into Mays and finding a Phillips head screwdriver, because that's what that was. So, yeah. That is the only reason. Otherwise, normally, please use a screwdriver, because this is only plastic, the electric socket, and it will break very easily. And as you can see, it is, in my opinion, the correct way it should be put on. Right, now we'll deal with the electrics. It's more a case of trying to put them so that they're safe, so they're not going to get hit or ripped off or anything like that. This part is, again, half aesthetics and half trying to protect the electrics. What I will recommend is, because although they have supplied some ripcords in the kit, I went out and I brought a pack. I just got this from, I think it was like Home Bargains or something like that. Relatively cheap. I think I paid like £4 or £5 for this pack, and there's like 500 zip ties in it. Right. You want them, if you're going to attach it to the actual tow bar, straight edge like I'm going to, you're going to want ripcords long enough to go around it. Don't use 2 ripcords, go out and buy some decent ripcords, because you're only going to do it once. So you may as well buy some like decent length ones to do the job. Right, I've actually got a couple of holes I could probably sneak it into. There's one on the back here on the body, which I don't know if it will go into the cab of the car, and then there's another 2 holes this side underneath. No, I could probably sneak it in through as well. I'll quickly show you them now. Right. So that's the first hole possible. Then you've got a second hole just here, and then I don't know if you can make it out on the camera, there's a third hole. So I've got 3 different areas. So I've got 3 different potential areas I could snake the cable through. What I am going to do first, I know, I'm going to do a little cut in the video here, because I'm going to move some stuff out of the boot of my car, tidy up a little bit, because a lot of the tools now I don't actually need again. From here on out, all you basically need is a pair of good pipe clamps, or whatever you want to call them. I can't think of the name off the top of my head at the minute. A pair of bull nose or other pliers like with the wire cutter in, so you can trim cables like that are too long. You need a multimeter, and you need extra cable, because you have to run a cable from over here to over this side of the car on the driver's side to the passenger side for the left hand side indicator, because you generally wire them up on the right hand side of the car, from what I've found what people do. I ain't sure what the reason is, but that's what I'm going with, like what I've read and heard and seen. So yeah, I'm going to have a quick tidy up with them guys, and then I'll jump back into the video. Right then guys, next what we're going to do, we're going to take off some of the plastic trim, probably, and pull back the carpet. Actually no, we have got to take off plastic trim from here all the way along the bottom round to the other side at minimum. Both back lights have to come out. because you need to get to the electrics on the back of this one predominantly, but also for one wire for that side that you have to feed over. I've also got to run the cable up from outside to inside and whatnot. But what we'll do that first, get the cable inside, then I'll put the bumper back on, and then all it is we're going to do the electrics inside. So yeah, I'll stop waffling guys, crack on with that bit, and then I'll jump back into the video. Don't do what I've done, I've just undone the boot hitch. Now I'll go find them bolts and then put them back in. Right guys, I found a spot for the wires to come through, just there, which was the first hole underneath the car. So what I'm going to do now is the bung that was in it, I'm going to put a hole through it. Crap, I need to pull the cable back out, put a hole through this, feed the cable through, put the bung back just so it's got a bit of protection then. Because if you leave this just through the hole, over time it's going to rub and cut through the plastic and everything, and then short circuit, and then your tow bar's melted. So all you've got to do is get a screwdriver and just plug a hole through it. You might have to get something a little bit bigger like to put through afterwards. Just get the hole a nice size so the cable can go in. There we go. Nice size hole. So there guys, the electrics are now in the car, ready to rock and roll to install. I will put the video to the time lapse now, and I'll get the rear bumper on, hopefully. Now let's see if the bumper will go back on without having to be cut. Ooh, we might be lucky folks. I think we're lucky. It fits perfect. Now I need to cut the bumper on this one, because sometimes you have to cut a square or like a half moon shape into the bumper for it to fit up back onto the car. But this time we've been lucky. So I'll get the 8mm nuts back in either side, the 2 cuts underneath, and then I'm going to have to modify the bit here where it was riveted to the car. But I'll show you that in a bit. Right guys, I don't recommend doing this bit, but because the stupid people at Ford riveted these bumpers on, and I have no idea where I'm going to get that size of rivet from, what I'm going to have to do is drill a hole through the bumper into the bodywork of the car to re-secure the bumper properly at the top, because it moves slightly. Just basically stop the bumper falling off completely. I've done the 2 nuts either side and put the plastic clips back in underneath. I forgot to record the bit underneath. So, yeah, I'll get these done. Then, it's moving inside the car to like remove the lights, remove some more trim if it needs it, to start doing the wiring. So I'll get this bit done now and then we can crack on. I'm going to use just a normal small black screw and a washer just to spread the load so I don't crack the bumper. And there we go. And there we go, the bumper's now secured back on. And now we can start tackling the electrics, which is going to be fun and take quite a long time to do. So far it only took me around about 3 hours to do the tow bar lock, with taking the back bumper off, taking the crash bar off, putting the tow bar on, and getting the electrics routed, and then putting the bumper back on. So I suspect it's going to take me probably about the same amount of time to do the electrics, because they are tedious as hell. So yeah, let's crack on then, guys. Right, as far as I'm aware, to take the back light out, all it is 2 screws. There might be a bolt inside, but I'm not sure. We'll see in a minute. Yeah, it looks like there's a bolt inside. I'm not going to force it because I don't want to break my backlight. So I'll take off the trim on this side, and we'll get this backlight out, and then we'll do the other side. Right guys, I was actually wrong. What it is, there's a plastic nut on the inside that just goes on here. I was wrong, you don't actually have to undo the trim. You can just literally pull the carpet down and you can reach the back of it. So I've got to put the trim back in. So yeah, I'll quickly screw that trim back in. I apologise for that bit, that is my mistake. But again, I'm making these mistakes. I've never took the backlight out of this car before, so I didn't actually know how it came out. I was assuming there's going to be a nut further up, something up here like behind the trim, but no, just a little plastic nut at the bottom that you can do by hand. Right, I'll put the trim back in. I'm going to quickly whip the other light out, save me a bit of work in a bit. So again guys, positive drive, screwdriver, or Marco's. Oh hang on. No, right. It looks like these backlights have been out before I've actually owned the car, which would explain why there's markings on this one. That side of mine, on the driver's side, is positive. On this side, looks like it's T25 Torx again. Yep, T25 Torx. So, it's either going to be positive or T25 Torx, because I don't know which is the original in this, if there's even any original. So you don't lose the plastic clips, I recommend just screw them back on a tiny bit on the light, just like that, so then they ain't going to get lost and they're with your backlight stuff. Right, the electrics, how I'm going to do it is I'm going to run mine behind the carpet because that's where the wiring is. So I'll remove 2 clips as just here, just with a screwdriver. So yeah, then with the clip shaft removed to pull the carpet back. Then just literally grab it and just push it out the way as best as we can. And now we've got pretty good access to behind. Right, here's the cable for the trailer. So I'm going to run it up just behind the carpet. I might end up putting a ripcord through the hole just here and there, just to hold the cable all like between there and there, depending yet like how I want it. Here is the electrical plug. Like I said, like with the other one, when you unclip them, it's just you push this down just to unclip it from the back of the light. Then just get your cables and feed them up through the gap, so through like that. This has got quite a bit of nice spare cable lengthwise. I have seen a couple of videos on the internet of people doing other trailers, and the cables are literally like, they're like that. They've got it's that short a spare cable. But luckily in this kit, they've been quite generous and gave quite a bit of spare cable. Alright, now, we had this piece of paper come with it, which is the wiring instructions, what the trailer comes with. Tells you which pin, which mine's a 7-pin tow bar electric, which cable, like colour cable, does what, and then like which connection you have to do. Then you got like the audible relay, which is let me find it, which is here. So like you've got like the different cable colours on each thing. Like you've got the trailer electrics and then the audible relay, which is the one, I know people will take the mick out of me, but when you indicate it goes doot doot doot. So yeah, what you do is you go between what colour on here cable that you need for different bits. So in our case, the yellow on the audible relay goes straight to the yellow on the trailer electrics. And then like you've got the blue cable on the trailer electrics is for the rear fog light, and so on and so forth. You literally just go through it. The only part that you're going to need a second person to help you with is the brake lights, which in this one is the red cable on the trailer electric, so obviously that one, which I'm going to have to figure out a way to do, because I'm actually on my own at the minute. I'm going to have to figure out a way to jam the brake pedal, so I am going to start going through it and start connecting up the cables. Another thing to note is they send you with, they send in the kits these Scotch locks. You put the cables through it, clamp the metal down. That's why, yeah, in the kit that's what they send you, like these Scotch locks, like that you put the cables into. That's why I said you need a good pair of grips so you can press the metal bar in. I'm not going to do it because I need to use them, but you press the metal bar down, which splices into the cable one side, you put the cables inside, and that's what gives you the connection. No need for soldering, nice, cheap, easy way to do it. I have found with kits before they don't send you enough, so I brought these a while back off of Amazon. It's a kit of Scotch locks, and I think I only paid about £7 or £8 for them. So I recommend, like, if you do want to do other electrics on your cars, which I have, because in this site the 12-volt cigarette lighter was a permanent 12 volts, and I've changed it now so it's only comes on when the ignition comes on. I didn't record a video doing that. Basically I wired to the back of the stereo just a non-permanent live feed that only comes on when the ignition's on, to switch a relay. So yeah, and then basically use the live feeds for what would have been the cigarette lighter to power it, but only coming on when the ignition is on. So yeah, that's basically a bit of information. Like, if you do want to know more, like, drop a comment down below and I'll try and explain it a bit better in a message or a comment to any of you out there that wants to do it. So yeah, you put the cables in to it, and then you grab your pliers, or in my case, like, I've got these, which I found a little bit better because they're a bit easier to squeeze. Press it down into it, and that has now spliced them two cables together, or should have. Just give them a little tiny tug. Don't yank on, just a little tiny tug, just to make sure that they have bit down into it. Then basically just get the clip and just click it over, and that's cable one done. I'll put this into a time lapse now. Actually, no, I won't. I'll show you what you have to do, like, to check each one to make sure you're getting the correct feed. We'll do the brake light, so I'm going to have to figure that out. How I've done it to jam the brakes on, like, for the brakes, is I've just used my toolkit to do it. Just so you know, like, for ease, like, if you've got a big enough toolbox that you can just wedge against the pedal, you could always do that. Right, now we need to find a decent earth point. Right, a good earth point that I've just found is, I've just jammed my probe underneath the boot latch. So there's my probe point for that. Set your meter to volts. All you need on is like 20 volt, just so you can see. And then what you do, just go each pin and check which one is gaining the voltage. Right, there we go. On this one, it's, if your clip's at the top, it's top left, which is green wire with the black tracer. Cable colours are different that side, but it's the same pinpoint as well. So that would be, right, so that's the, right, it's the red cable on the trailer electrics in this case for the stop lamps or brake lights, whichever you want to call them. Right guys, generally you do the wiring from outside the car, but I've figured that if I pull the cables down a bit, I've got more room inside the car to put the plugs on and that, because as you saw, like, there were much cable pulling out. So I'm going to do all the wiring from in here. So yeah, as you know already, green wire with a black tracer is for the stop lamps, which was red, I believe. Yes, the red cable on the trailer electrics. So again, what you do, right, in these, more like the Welsh pan camera, there's an end that's blocked off and then an end that goes straight through. The end that's blocked off, you put the trailer electric in, so like it don't go through. The end that goes straight through, you clip onto the car wiring, like, so it's straight through, like, and whatnot, so it ain't gonna interfere with it. So yeah, I'll quickly get this one done. Right, it's as simple as that, guys. So yeah, the next one that I'll do now is going to be the rear fog light. Then I'll do tail lamps, which is the headlamps for the rear. And then like I'll go on to like do the indicators, and as well I need to get 2 earth points, which I will sort out last. So yeah, I've got a whole nest of wiring to do, guys, so I'll put this in time lapse and then I'll come back in once I've done all the wiring. Right, for the next bit, which is for the passenger side, which is the left hand side, we have this brown cable for the indicator. I have got to run another cable for that. I already had this cable wound about, I had it on a reel. If you go to like your local car parts shop or whatever, they've normally got it on reels that you can buy by the meter or whatever, but I have some. I picked it up off the boat sale on about a 100 metre reel for about a tenner. So yeah, always look out for bargains on boat sales when it comes to it, guys. Right guys, what's left now is this white cable which I've scotch locked together with a black cable because it's the earth cable that needs connecting up. Right, what you gotta do, you gotta put it into this, which I'm gonna show you now. So what we do, this is why you need some wire cutters as well. I haven't actually got my wire stripper out here with me, but I can do it with this. Basically just take the end off the cable, just like that, nice and easy. Take the connector, feed it through, so you can see a tiny little bit of the cable just there, and get your clamps again, Old Faithful. Then get it. I use the back side of this because you can get a little bit more easier pressure onto it, and just clamp it down nice and tight so it won't come out. Get it to the tug, not too hard again, like, cause you don't want to rip it off, like, because depending on your strength, I could easily just rip this off now and whatnot. So that's that. Because we need a good point of earth. You've got plenty of metal all around in the car, but because you've not got, oh actually, that might work this way. I've just found there is a bolt near the sardine earth point. If it's all fit, we might be able to sneak that onto it. So I'm going to have to get a socket which it looks like about a 10mm. So give me a second. That is the one I'm on about. We're going to put the car just onto this here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get the camera angle in there with how I've got to do it. So I do apologise, but I'll get it done as quick as I can. Also, it wasn't a 10mm. It's an 8mm nut. Bolt. My apologies. Happy days. It fits on. So if you're doing it on a Fusion, like I am, if you've got this same bolt hole there, you may be able to fit it there. And that should be done. But just to be on the safe side, because I like to double check things, I'm going to make sure it's got a good earth. So, same multimeter to earth. And we have a good earth. So yeah guys, that's how you do a tow bar and the electrics wiring it in. I won't bore you with the rest of it because it's going to be like cable management now, putting the carpet back in, the rubber back on the outside, putting the backlights back in and whatnot. But what I will do, I will put it in a time lapse, so I will leave it off here with myself talking. Have a good one guys, and I'll see you in the next video.
I tested the trailer electrics afterwards. It all worked perfectly. If you want to see more videos like this, drop a comment below. Thanks for watching.